Hello everyone in Cyber World, welcome back to another video. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Richard, and this is our channel we call Poor Man's DIY.
Prior projects that we did in videos, we showed you what we did. Today we're going to teach you how we do this video.
Okay, what we're talking about here is another project that we have done a few different times, and each time, again, it was more of a way to show you an idea that maybe you can use a similar concepts and do it for yourself. We never usually get into the full details. Today we're going to try something a little bit different. We're actually going to give you the instructions and try and show you a step-by-step. Now what we're going to be doing here is in this little area here, we're going to be taking these pictures and our nice little shelf that we've built in the past, and we're actually going to be putting up an accent wall, and we're going to be doing that by installing flooring on the walls once again. Now there's twofold reasons why we're going to do this.
Number one
is we have decided that the hallway here upstairs we like very much. However, it's kind of too blue. There's too much blue going on here, and we figured we need something to break it up a bit, and an accent wall would be perfect using this particular wood. Now, Number two, the second reason that we did this is it's always kind of been a dream of mine to have a room somewhere in the house that was based on a Japanese house with a tatami floor. We don't have a lot of spare space that we can just turn the whole room into a tatami room. So we have this little nook here that we're going to show you, and it's really tiny, but we think we could do it as a design with a small tatami mat and make the walls and whatnot look, which would be more of a common in a Japanese home and how they display things. And the first thing that we have to do there is we want to put up what would look like a wood wall. And we'll go from there. So before we get into that, pause. So in addition to putting up the wall, eventually we plan on making our own tatamis from scratch. We've done this before in a workshop, and we have a video that we made for this a long time ago. We won't be able to get to that anytime soon because we actually have to order the special straw and other components and have it shipped from Japan, which can get kind of costly, so we're kind of putting that aside for a little bit. Anyhow, when we actually get to the rest of this after we put up the wall, we have some ideas of what we want to put in this little area. It's about 6 by 4, and we would appreciate if you leave your opinions in there what we should do. Just load it into the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed already, help us out. Take you just a second, hit the subscribe button below. Now let's get into the video.
So before we get started, we're going to have to take things off the shelves, remove the shelves, and remove the other items in the area. Let's get started.
Okay, this is the flooring that we've decided to go with. It's only 7 millimeters thick, so it's very thin. It is also inexpensive, and one of the main reasons that it's inexpensive is because in modern days, most flooring that you purchase now has a backing on it with cushion and some water barrier. When you buy it in that manner, you can easily install it on the floor without having to install any other padding in advance. We don't want that padding because there's no need for it on the wall. So again, this is the least expensive one, and it looked exactly the type of color that we wanted. Now, each make and model is going to have different types of tongues and grooves. What these are is how you connect two boards together. You have to be very aware of this. Your instructions should have how you want to set it up on the floor. It'll probably tell you need to start from the bottom left corner, work your way up and over, or however they designed it to be. Okay, and in our particular case, we have the grooves here, and you have to be careful on deciding how you want to set this up. Now, if we were to install this board first, and based on the tongue and grooves, if we install this first, in order for these two to latch together, we would actually have to take the second board and push it behind it to get it to lock in place. If we're going to be gluing these to the wall, so that's not going to work too efficiently. The proper way would be to make sure that you have the side that goes on first, the second piece fits into the groove, and once it's in there, you snap it into place and it'll lock solid. The same concept will be as you're going up. You need to make sure that you use the side that will be able to push into the groove, push up and lock into place. So we're gonna go ahead and use this pattern, and based on this, we're gonna start from the corner, left corner, and work your way this way.
Okay, so this is the first board that we're gonna start with. We wanna get it into the wall, right next to the wall, and then take the level and make sure it's completely level against the wall. Okay, so now we're gonna use my Makita caulking gun and an all-purpose adhesive to put on the back of the boards.
And now to actually install this. And now, as she mentioned, we want to make sure that this is level. We're good to go. We're now ready to install the second board, which is going to go above the first against the wall here. Now, here's the thing. Instinct tells you to just put this up here, mark this, and cut it off, and you're good to go. However, you have to take into consideration these have tongues and grooves. If you cut this off here, you will no longer have the tongue that fits inside and snaps to this part, and it will no longer fit together. So what you're gonna have to do, and I've done this so many times I keep forgetting, but you're going to have to flip this board upside down and mark it here so that when it gets flipped over, that tongue is still there. When it comes down to cutting the boards, there are several different options of how you can do this. We have a table saw, and we're going to be using that. However, we want to let you know that yes, you can actually use other things without spending a whole bunch of money on woodworking equipment. You could use a miter box with a handsaw. Now, this particular box is not wide enough for the board to fit in between. The idea is that you would put the board in here, cut it, and get a straight line. But you could still use the saw itself. Draw a line on the board and carefully cut that so you get a straight line. If you're off, don't worry about it. The good thing about this is after you put it on the wall, we're going to show you that there's going to be gaps that are going to be inconsistent along the top. We weren't worried about perfectionism, and the reason for that is when we're done, we're going to be putting up quarter round, and the quarter round is going to hide all those discrepancies so you don't have to worry about that. Now I'm going to show you how we use our table saw. Okay, when I mark the board, I put a line of where the cut needs to be, and I scribble just a slight bit on the right here. The reason for this is because this is the side that I'm actually going to be used. Technically, this is going to be scrap. We're going to use it for the next line, but the reason that I do this is it all depends on where this line is, how you want to cut, whether you're using a table saw or whether you're using a miter saw or even an electric powered miter saw. Here's the line. If I put this line anywhere on where the blade is, by cutting it on this side, the width of the blade is going to cut out too much and this board is going to be too short. So I need to make sure that the line is on the far end of the blade as possible so that it will only cut this side of the board, which is scrap, and this will then be the right size. The same principle applies when you're using hand tools. Make sure that your saw blade is on the right side of the mark and only cut the scrap side. Alrighty. And this, by the way, is referred to as a tapping block. This allows you to put this up against the board and pound it up against the other board. In this case, we're just tapping it up against the wall. Now that we've got this, key point, we want to make sure everything is nice and level. And we're good to go.
Okay, so this is the piece that we cut off from this board. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this piece and place it at the bottom of the wall and start from there, so we'll have a staggered look.
Okay, we've run into a minor snag, but we've done so many different types of flooring and different locking mechanisms and whatnot, so we've come up with a solution for this particular one. The problem that we're having is when you install two of these boards, they have to be put in such an angle like this, and then you push it flat, and then it locks into place. That in itself isn't a problem. Now, the top works under the same concept. You have to put it in an angle and then pull it up to make it lock. Here's where the actual issue is. You can't do a horizontal and a vertical angle at the same time. Most of the locking devices that we've noticed is that you put in the vertical one first, and then when you get this close enough, you can simply tap this and they will slide together and lock into place. We've tried tapping it, almost beat the wood into half, and it just wouldn't lock. So we've come up with a different way of doing this. What we're now doing is we're building a single plank for the full length, and then all we have to do is a vertical lock in and push the whole thing in at the same time. It's just a matter of measuring from top to bottom and then getting the glue on there and putting it up here. Made it pretty simple. Now for the final piece that's going to be going up on the wall, the board itself is too wide and we need to cut it down. Now the best way to do this is if you have a table saw, you set the width of that and you run it through very easily, and we're going to show you how we do that with our table saw. But I want you to know that you can actually do this even without a table saw, and probably the best option is if you have a circular saw. If not, it can still be done with a jigsaw or even a handsaw if that's what the only options that you have available. And here's how you do this. You set up your board and you'll draw a line of where it has to be cut. Once you've determined the width of that, you can use your table saw, and by setting up a straight edge that will line right up against your circular saw here, you will put this right up against the edge of your straight edge. This doesn't have to be a level like I have. You can use a straight piece of wood, a big piece, whatever it is, just something that with a straight edge, the length of this board, and you hold it up against there, turn it on, and send it through. The exact same thing, exact same concept will be for jigsaws. You can put this up against there, make sure where the blade lines up with the line on the board, push it up there, and just follow the line. All right. Also, this will work with the handsaw as well. You could put this as a guide and then cut it along here. Obviously, it's going to take a lot longer to do that, but you can do this without power tools. One last possible solution, I'm not 100% sure on this one here, but you can also take wood to your local big box stores and have them cut wood. I have seen them only say that they will only cut wood that's purchased in their store. But I've also seen a person actually bring in a door that they purchased and said that they needed it cut at a certain length off of the edge and off of the bottom, and they just paid for the 50 cents, I think, was per cut. So that might be an option as well. You can get these measurements and take it to your big box store and ask them to cut along there. Call them first to make sure they'll do that. Okay, now that we've finished installing all the flooring on the walls, the next step we're going to be installing what is referred to as quarter round. That's 1/4 of a round. As the name says, this piece is actually 1/4 of a circle. All right, this fits into a corner, and a 90-degree corner, and by doing so, it will actually hide any discrepancies. So if your boards aren't perfectly cut straight across along the top, this will hide those and you won't even notice it. Now, one of the problems that we have on our wall is one side is not based on a corner, it's just an open wall. So what we wanted to do was put up a piece of wood there as well, but we thought maybe we could make a half round and put it up. The only problem is you can buy a rod and split it down the middle with our table saw or something else. However, the wood itself is not going to match the rest of the walls. What we have purchased is the quarter round, is from the same manufacturer that makes the flooring. And so this matches perfectly, but they don't make half rounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to take two of the quarter rounds and glue them together to make it look like a half round, and that will be on the far right as you face the wall, and we'll show you how that looks. So now we're just going to glue these together and let them set before we start cutting things and installing them on the wall. Now, here's a trick on how DIYers clean their hands when they get glue. It's real simple. Okay, the quarter round turned into a half round pretty well. It didn't stick all the way to the bottom, but that's okay. We're going to use adhesive on the back and hold it all in place, as well as some tiny pin nails, so it should be just fine. Here are the imperfect cuts we spoke about earlier, but we are now going to cover those with quarter round. Once we've obtained our measurement from end to end, we cut a 45-degree angle, which will be linked to a vertical piece that we cut later. So we got the quarter round on the top, cut it in a 45-degree angle. Now what I'm going to do, I cut this other side that'll match it up. We're going to slide it in there just to make sure it fits. I'll give you a close-up to show what we're talking about.
So we hope you enjoy our step-by-step tutorial about placing flooring on the wall.
And as you may notice, in addition to installing the wall, we have gotten one step closer to finishing up our tea room. Someday we will be building our own tatami mats that we'll be adding to this. And when we do that, we'll be sure to make a video and show you how that is done. So until we meet again, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.